Between the guests that I host on the Startup Hustle podcast and my fellow cast members on Startup Hustle TV, I learn stuff every single day. My real life education is from Startup Hustle University.
The biggest takeaway I had from watching Startup Hustle TV was I'm not alone. Like, there are so many people that are out there struggling to get their business off the ground, struggling to manage their daytime, the hours in the day to balance work and family. It just made me feel like that it's okay to be going through troubles. It's okay to have those doubting feelings and thoughts about myself. Because at the end of the day, we're all still here pushing forward, fixing problems, putting out fires, and ultimately making our way to success.
My biggest takeaway is that we are all learning as we're going. As entrepreneurs, I don't think any of us in this show ever said, hey, we knew exactly what we were doing the moment we signed the papers to incorporate our business. Nobody said that ever. And if you don't believe me, watch them all again. And I think that's really important for people that want to be an entrepreneur and want to try something different, is that you have to actually go for it and you have to be determined to learn how to do it. And I think it's all about learning about what works.
My biggest takeaway from Startup Hustle so far is that I'm not alone, and there's lots of solutions to problems, and there's lots of different ways to figure it out, and that in order to be an entrepreneur, you've got to take all the chances and find all the solutions you can.
I think the biggest takeaway I have from Startup Hustle TV is that business is hard, that we all have very similar problems. We go through the same crap. We often talk about it and describe it differently, but in the end, we all have the same problems to solve. We all have a similar approach, and we all have a really good attitude about doing it. And I think that has so much to do with why we actually get stuff done.
My biggest takeaway from Startup Hustle TV would be that when faced with the same questions or when faced with the same challenges, not only do entrepreneurs do the same things, but many of us do different things, and we still end up at solutions. And what that says to me is there's not just a perfect way to do anything, and that determination can really get you where you need to be.
My biggest takeaway from watching the Startup Hustle TV is that we all have similar problems. Even though we span in a variety of different industries and products and services, the problems tend to be very similar.
I think my biggest takeaway is that I am very fortunate to be working with a team of absolute badasses. That's number one. But besides that, I think the most impactful episode for me was probably, I don't know, the mental health and wellness one really got to me, because I think that that's a really, really big problem that entrepreneurs deal with. So, you know, just hearing from the other cast members, like what they do to manage stress and how they handle that was extraordinarily helpful for two reasons. You know, it gives me cool, actionable stuff that I can do, but then it also, you know, makes you feel a little less alone, which is nice.
I have learned so much from Matt DeCorsi from several years worth of watching the Startup Hustle podcast or listening to the Startup Hustle podcast and now doing the TV show with him. Matt is just a wealth of knowledge, and more so than being a wealth of knowledge, he is really good at communicating what he knows, and that's a difficult aspect. People don't always consider the communication aspect into delivering education to folks, and Matt does a very good job of that.
Matt DeCorsi, that guy, oh dude, that guy has taught me so much. You only get to really see a glimpse of him on the show on Startup Hustle TV, but what you don't get to see are all the phone calls that we've had, all the conversations about different projects that we're going through on our own businesses, and the advice that he gives, the time that he gives. I wish I was in Kansas City because I'm a little jealous that he's been taking some of the crew over to the Royals games. But no, there's so much great stuff that Matt has shared with us, not just on the show, but in person. And I really appreciate just the time, the effort, and the invitation to be a part of the cast. So thanks, Matt.
So Matt really taught me to be introspective when it comes to business and ask yourself questions, which I think is a good idea. And one question he asked me just on a private phone conversation really got me going. He said, Eric, why are you still swinging a hammer? And I'm a contractor, if you didn't know. I build houses, but I also make YouTube videos, and I've been doing better money-wise making videos. He said, why are you still swinging a hammer? And that actually caught me way off guard. I was like, dang, I had never even thought about that. Never crossed my mind. How am I spending my time? Am I spending it wisely to do the best I can with my businesses or not? And so thanks, Matt, for that. I'm going to try to think introspectively. I can't even say that word. But thanks for teaching me how to do it.
I followed Matt's lead in regards to the authenticity piece. Watching him just really say it like it is. I know a lot of his current struggles and things, and he'll just talk about them openly. So his authenticity on the show allowed room for the rest of us to be authentic and really share our stories openly as well.
What have I learned from watching Matt DeCorsi? It's no secret that I am a Matt DeCorsi super fan. He's an amazing champion. He has integrity. He mentors me even when I don't want it, but I need it. And I really love the way that he presents information on Startup Hustle TV. Those cutaways where he just gives more context and makes sure that things are being explained really well. Like that's actually one of my favorite parts of the show, because sometimes I feel like he says the things that I wanted to say, but then just verbal vomit came out of my mouth, and Matt was like, well, I'm just gonna clean up that behind. So it's really awesome to watch him work, and his passion for all of this, for his companies and his books and for Startup Hustle is just absolutely, it's overwhelming sometimes. I wonder how that much excitement and how that much passion could get packed into one dude, and yet there we have it. It has. What
I learned from Matt Watson was that you don't have to make $1 million just one time. You can do it over and over again.
One of the things that I've learned from Matt Watson during the course of Startup Hustle TV is that it takes a long time to go through a startup acquisition. I was just amazed at the 5.5 month process that he went through during Netrio acquiring Stackify. And honestly, I learned a lot about the patience that would be required to go through a startup acquisition. I think I would have had a really difficult time making it through all the meetings, all the stuff, and the incredible amount of patience that was needed to see that through to the end. Good job, Matt.
Watching Matt Watson on the show has been great. Getting to know him more. In person, it's just a little bit different. We're always busy. We've got 45 minutes for a podcast or something like that. We haven't spent a ton of time where we're just hanging out and kicking it. And feels like I've been able to spend time with him just through watching the episodes on the show.
What I have learned most from Matt Watson is, as an entrepreneur, it is kind of a game, right? So it's all about an exit strategy. It's all about, getting yourself to where you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And with Matt Watson, he accomplished that, but more so, he found a way to kind of find a new passion and to start all over and keep the grind going and just work towards, you know, the goal as an entrepreneur, which is solving problems. And Matt Watson solves problems really well.
Oh, what have I learned from watching Watson? I think, as we all know, Matt Watson is kind of he's the leader we always wanted when it comes to startup success. You know, two multi-million-dollar exits, and he's so young, and he's done it twice. And I mean, I think it's just crazy. But just watching him work, and the way that he like very calmly and tactically assesses a problem, like he's a problem solver. And so being able to be kind of on the ground floor of that and hear his thoughts, it's just really enlightening, and it's a gift, you know, because it's not often that you have access to someone who has been so successful.
Dude, Andrew, you are doing some amazing things, dude. You, my friend, are a beast. And I've learned that you go through all kinds of shit every single day. You probably have some of the greatest doubt in your mind about what it is that you do, and yet you still push forward and you still make it happen. Dude, Marknology, that shit is the bomb. And I'm glad that I got to meet somebody like you to see that the struggle is real, but so is the success.
Hey, I want to give a huge thank you to Andrew Morgans as well. Him and Matt have both been working to help my business grow by working on a website, merchandising and selling that on Amazon, which is something I'm not an expert at. I'm better at building houses and just making YouTube videos, and that doesn't mean I'm an expert at websites. So I really appreciate both y'all's help, and I'm looking forward to our continued relationship and see where this thing can go.
Andrew's really taught me that you shouldn't stop learning. He's so mentor driven, and I consider myself to be one of Andrew's mentors, and I know that he has several. He's smart for looking to so many different people for input and advice, and he overall just has a great attitude. He's willing to admit that he's got a lot to learn in some regards, and then he gets to work learning it.
I haven't learned anything from watching myself.
What I've learned most from Andrew Morgans is that can't stop, won't stop, man. This guy is a hustler. He is grinding nonstop. He has so many different businesses and just avenues of opportunities going on, and I really envy that about Andrew and just the passion that he puts forward every day into what he does. You know, I think that's a true testament to what an entrepreneur is, and something that a lot of people can strive to be more like.
What have I learned from watching Andrew Morgans? Man, I love Andrew. The man knows how to turn a phrase. And there have been a couple of times when like he'll be answering the same question that I was asked, and I just and it just like whatever pops out of my mind. And then he's sitting there in his car or wherever he is. I feel like he sits in his car a lot. But he's just sitting there, and he just comes out with this really great definition or this really fantastic explanation of where he is in some process. And so I really love watching the way that his mind works. He is a sharp, sharp dude. And again, like I just love the fact that I get a little insight into these really brilliant minds that are taking part in Startup Hustle. I love it.
When I watch Hernan on the show, he's just got energy, and he's upbeat and always working on marketing. He's got a motor that doesn't stop, and I think it's inspiring. I'm personally a high energy guy, and then there's Hernan. And I find that to be refreshing, and he's always got a smile and I think a great attitude. He is open and admits when he's struggled or when things haven't gone well, and he's the first person to take responsibility for things not going well and knows he can get up the next day and start over again and try for a win.
The business bros in Hernan, energy is everything. I love watching them. I love getting on their podcast, seeing the energy that they bring, and Those are deal makers. They're always making a deal. I see that they monetize everything. I love that. I've loved getting to know those guys a little bit better through the show.
My biggest takeaway from Hernan is just his positivity. You know, the guy, he understands business, he understands the way it works, and he understands just how to put a positive spin on things. I don't know, maybe living in 72-degree weather and sunny skies every day plays a part in that. I don't know. But it's something that I really dig about Hernan is just his ability to understand what's going on and making everything positive and just moving forward.
I don't know if I can tell you how much I love our very own business, bro. You know, I think one of the big things that I learned from Hernan is enthusiasm. You know, sometimes when I like do these videos, I'm, you know, shooting them late at night because it's been a crazy day and it's like whenever I can fit it in. And I am always so impressed. I'm always impressed with the wisdom that he drops because, you know, he's awesome. But he always does it with such vibrance and such excitement. And it's just really awesome to see that, and it inspires me. Like, you know, when I do like my little sing-song things and stuff like that and like my little dances, it's because I'm inspired by the level of excitement and passion and enthusiasm that the man brings to the table. It's shaming, but it pushes me to do better and be better. So thanks, dude.
Lauren, you have more than money in mind. You're making contributions to women and empowering women to do amazing things. You are a beacon of hope. You are an inspiration to a lot of different people because, you know, the rest of us, for the most part, are definitely chasing a dollar bill. We're definitely chasing an ego, like a legacy that I can leave behind. At least I know I am. And when I watch you, it reminds me that there's more to life than just that. That there's the ability for you to go out and make a difference in the world, to just give somebody that helping hand, because when you help them up, they're going to start walking. You're going to help them so that they can start running, and you never know what changes they're going to make in the world. And it all started because of you. So Lauren, thank you very much for what you do. And I've learned so much from just listening to your struggles. And I'll try not to curse on camera. Just kidding.
Lauren Conway is a shero. You know, the stuff that she does at InnovateHer it's just unbelievable. And it's thankless on so many days. And she gets to deal with a lot of really heated opinions. And that's a tough job. It is really, really difficult because when you get in the business of opinion, everyone's is different and everyone seems to be right according to them. And she teaches me a lot of patience, like how to deal with people that are upset or sometimes not and move them off to the side. But overall, it's just in awe that she can show up and do what she does every day. I don't think I'm wired for that. So it's been really interesting and really amazing to watch how she has grown InnovateHer into being such a big organization. Congrats.
Lauren Conway is liked by many. I can tell by the people that get on the show, their interactions. A lot of people really just enjoy her company, enjoy her energy, and I love what she brings to our team in regards to different perspectives on a lot of things. And I think that's something that's extremely valuable.
What I've learned from Lauren is that she's a potty mouth. She is a straight up grade A potty mouth, and I love it. She also has so much passion for what she does, for the people she works with, for the people she cares about. And she has found a way to turn that passion into, you know, a career, a life, a way of living. And I really dig that about Lauren.
Joel, bootstrap like a mother, right? I mean, who ever had an idea and thought, oh, this would make a good game, and then actually does the work to make it happen? That's Joel. I mean, dude, everything from concept to figuring out where to manufacture it, to actually getting it manufactured, getting licensing agreements, putting that thing in Targets. I mean, you have literally done what most entrepreneurs dream of doing. And it was just one of your ideas. And then you're so laid back, so chill, and so humble about the experience. You're just willing to roll up the sleeves and work. And then you shut it off. Like, you literally don't take it home with you. You don't think about it and stress out at home. At least that's what I got from the show. And that is a tremendous power in and of itself. Because I know for me as an entrepreneur, that shit never shuts off. But you found a way. Thanks, Joel, for sharing what you have on Startup Hustle TV.
When I watch Joel, I just think ice water in the veins. He's always so calm, and he's thinks about what he says, but he's not excitable and emotional like I am. And it's very calm, very cool, very collected. Joel has a way of looking at things creatively and creates things. I mean, like actual physical things, like Mixtape the game. And overall, he's got a very methodical approach to getting stuff done, and he's not afraid to work hard. And those are some of the takeaways I get when I watch Joel.
I think that he knows music a lot more than I thought he did. That's what I've learned from the show. Just a kind, open guy that we haven't spent a lot of time together. None of us Startup Hustle crew have really spent that much time together outside of a few of us. And just getting to see Joel share his experiences through business, through entrepreneurship has been fun, and getting to know his taste in music has been fun too.
What I've learned from Joel is that, you know, someone that can take a cocktail napkin business plan and turn it into a successful venture, that's pretty stellar in my book. You know, it takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of dedication to make that happen. Taking some, you know, idea right here and saying, okay, we're going to go with this. We're going to make this happen. You know, I think it's a testament to Joel and his, you know, background as a military guy and just a never quit attitude. And that's definitely something that Joel possesses and makes him a great entrepreneur.
Joel Johnson, so I've always really liked Joel. I like Joel a lot. He's a really, really good dude. And watching him, he's always just so calmly ready to go. You know, I think one of my big takeaways with him was watching him apply to Techstars, and the fact that he didn't get it. And I was super bummed for him, but he did it exactly the way that you're supposed to do it. You know, okay, tried this, learned for next time, brushed himself off and was like, all right, what's next? And that level of tenacity and just chutzpah, like I don't even know, zhuzh, whatever you want to call it. Like that is an impressive man right there. I dig him a lot personally, but I admire the shit out of him.
All right, the Perkins brothers. The first thing I found out from watching you guys is you have cash flow problems too. Welcome to real life. That's at least how I felt. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not the only one going through some stuff. I'm not the only one whose bank account reaches zero from time to time. We got to figure out how to solve that problem. And second was, dude, you guys tear it up on YouTube. I mean, you're literally doing what Gary Vee says to do all the time, which is just document. You're on a construction site. There's fun stuff that happens when a bunch of boys get together and you give them tools, right? Plus you create some amazing projects. So, you know, if anything I learned, just be yourself. Just document what you're going through. And yes, it takes a lot of time to do the editing. Believe me, I know. But if I'm consistent at it, from following the Perkins brothers, you know things can happen. It's just dedication and consistency. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
I learned a lot from that Eric Perkins guy. Dude, he is a stud. He's the man. He's the best guy on the show.
Eric Perkins is one of my favorite cast members because he does stuff that's so much different than the rest of us. And Eric's not only demonstrating and talking about the things that are going on in his home building business, he's also got this rapidly growing YouTube social media channel. I mean, they got like 300,000 subscribers on the Perkins Brothers YouTube. And, you know, Eric's just got a generally great attitude, you know, and I appreciate that, because I think a lot of people, when they get under pressure, the worst parts of them come out. And we've had so many episodes where Eric's dealing with crap that he necessarily can't control, but he's staying calm, he's staying positive, he's doing the right things, and he's not just turning his back on a problem and hoping that it fixes itself. So it's been very fascinating. I've also learned that Eric is willing to climb up into really high, scary places that I'm not willing to climb up to.
What I've learned from Eric Perkins is just his ability to be dynamic, to go and work on a construction site all day long, managing those employees and those projects, and then to go home and basically download it on a computer and start a whole nother job, and to make more money at that second job than your first job. I mean, that's impressive. And he's a dynamic individual with just such a great outlook, and I've really enjoyed, you know, his take on business and how he goes about with, you know, his successes and his failures, and he owns them both. And I love that about Eric.
I have learned more about the building business than I ever thought I would from Eric Perkins. Thank you very much, sir. I have also learned, so in addition to learning about kind of like the back end of construction and building and development and all that fun stuff, which is fun, don't get me wrong. Like I've loved getting insight into an industry that I don't really know that much about. I also love that, you know, I think I know a lot about Kansas City and the people here in Kansas City, so getting a little bit of a view to some place that's not here in KC was always kind of fun. But with Eric, I think one of the ways that he inspires me, so I remember Matt and I were like watching some rough cuts of, you know, some videos before the first episode was even released. Matt showed me a cut of Eric, like he had strapped himself to a roof in the middle of the winter. Like there was snow and ice all over this roof, and he was trying to like clean off the roof so that they could do something to it. And he had his GoPro with him. And I just remember like Matt and I were just, you know, going back and forth. We're like, dude, that is dedication. Like the lengths that man will go to get a good shot and share a good lesson. Beautiful.
Heather and Kyle. Dude, you guys are like the Startup Hustle TV gangsters, dude. First of all, it's so funny to watch you guys and the dynamic of your relationship. And then I had the opportunity to meet you in person when you came down to San Diego, which was super awesome. But what have I noticed is that a good marriage, a good partnership, a good team will find success no matter what they're going through. They will persevere at every problem that shows up, and they'll push through. And even though your product has all kinds of red tape that you got to go through, you find a way. You put your customers first, you help solve their problems and achieve success for themselves. Plus, you got all those kids to raise. I'm telling you, you guys are an inspiration. You're one of the OGs. Your gangster is all hell, because ain't nobody have that kind of dedication, that kind of persistence than my two hemp guys.
So I really enjoyed hearing Kyle and Heather's story because they're selling something that's different. It's completely legal, but they're getting treated as though they're selling something illegal or doing something wrong when they're not. And, you know, that's just a tough wall to be up against. That's something I don't face in my own business. And I never even thought about people trying to have a business where you're just grinding against a wall the whole time, fighting what seems like an impossible force coming against you. And all you're trying to do is run your business and make a living. So I really appreciated hearing about their struggles. It really opened my eyes to how hard some people are working, you know, to make their own dreams come true.
Oh, when I watch Heather and Kyle and KC Hempco, I think man, you guys go through a lot of shit at your business that you quite honestly shouldn't have to go through. So much of the cannabis business and the hemp stuff in general, it's under scrutiny, and they get their social media accounts shut off. They have to overcome things like the inability to place a whole lot of different types of advertising, and really in the end, it's challenge, problem, and then they find solution. So, as far as husband and wife teams go, they don't always work, but they really make it work and manage to have a whole bunch of kids running around at the same time. So it's really a lesson in patience, finding solutions, and overcoming a lot of crap that so many of us don't have to deal with at our own businesses.
I think I've learned that Heather hates Facebook. Watching Heather on the show has just really shown me like how good her and her husband work together as a team. I think that hearing how they bounce ideas off each other and tackle projects together has been a lot of fun. It relates to me and my sisters at Marknology. We are a team that can't be separated and that work way better together than alone. And while we might have some disagreements, ultimately we're better as a team. And I love that about Heather.
One of the best parts of Startup Hustle TV is getting to know like all of these hosts a little bit better. And I feel like Kyle and Heather, I've had the chance to connect with them a couple of times, and I really enjoy them as human beings. Like they're a beautiful couple. They're just wonderful, warm people. And I dig that. But one of the things, like, I couldn't do what they do. Just the roadblocks that are thrown up for them being a part of the cannabis industry, just because it's part of the cannabis industry, and it's like kind of the Wild West, but also highly regulated, and like you never know which way is up. Like Heather will tell me stuff and I'll get mad for her. I'll be like, this is just so fucking unfair, that you can't advertise on social media, and you can't do this, and you have to your money gets locked down, and it's just not fair. And they handle it beautifully.
When it comes to myself and my own content, I hope the viewers are getting a healthy dose of my realism. And I say realism because you have optimism, you have idealism, there's all kinds of isms, but in the end, like a healthy dose of reality. And here it is. This is your reality, so deal with it. And that is what, in my opinion, every entrepreneur has to get up and have a tall glass of every morning. Here's your reality, and you need to deal with it. All the optimism in the world is great, but it doesn't overcome the reality that you need to get up and solve problems every day. Yeah, have a good, optimistic attitude about doing that, but you can't turn your back on the problems. I see people do this all the time. And the reality is you got to fix it. And I say whatever it is that's bothering you, wherever your stress and anxiety are coming from, whatever the most valuable solution that you need to find in and around your business, that's your reality.
What do I hope that viewers learn from me? Look, you see this face? It was made for radio. And I can guarantee you that if I can hop in front of a camera and share what I'm going through, my struggles, my ups, my downs, my trials, my tribulations, all those different things, then you can too. And the moment you open up and give people an idea of who you are as a human being, the more you're going to connect with other people. And it's okay to have problems, because we all have problems. That's really what I hope that you get out of my experience on Startup Hustle TV.
My hope is that viewers find the show interesting, and it's encourage them to, go for it. They can obviously see that none of us are perfect at this. Well, maybe Watson, but, no one knows all the answers, and we're not all perfect at it, and we fail, and we succeed, and we fail, and we do it again, and we wake up and we do it again every day. So my biggest hope for viewers is that they can see that it ain't easy, number one, and number two, you can do this.
Wrap your arms around it and squeeze it and get the most you can out of it, because that's what you've got right now, and that's your reality.
I hope some of these episodes resonate with viewers. You know, we're taking a lot of time to talk to you about real talk and try to share real value. And I hope that people can see that these are honest answers that honest people are trying to share, that hopefully it can help others. So I hope that you see the authenticity and you understand that whatever advice we're giving needs to go through your filter in order to work for you and your business.
What I hope viewers learn from me along the way is just the dedication to your craft and to the passion of what you're doing. Getting up every day and just working towards your ultimate goal, knowing what that goal is and then working towards it. And so whether that's within the cannabis industry, whether that's in building houses, whether it's in, internet and e-commerce sales, it doesn't matter. The grind is going to be the same. It's just a matter of putting your best foot forward every day and making your dreams come true. And I hope that if I can inspire just one other entrepreneur to do the same thing, then, this is all worth it for me.
I hope that viewers at home are learning to look at business through a different lens. Like, how can we build these amazing companies, but how can we build companies that make an impact in our communities? And how can we turn the lens so that, profit definitely like hugely up there, love to make a profit, love money. But at the same time, like sometimes balancing the art, I always talk about the art versus commerce deal with Innovator. Like, what can we do to make money, but what can we do to fundamentally change the lives of our members? And I don't always know the answer to that, but I'm hoping that viewers watching at home are learning a little bit about that journey. It's a different kind of business. It's a different way to do business, and it's a different sense of purpose. Not better or worse, just different.
If I had to give just general advice to a viewer of Startup Hustle TV, it's don't give up. Keep trying. Look for the things that you can get better at and work on getting better at them. You're not going to do it quickly. You're not going to fix all your problems. Well, honestly, you're never going to fix all your problems. All businesses have problems. All software has bugs. Everything has room for improvement. And it's your job to try to keep all that stuff moving forward. You're going to have days where you win. You're going to have days where you lose. But what's important is that you get up every day and you either try to get better or you try to stop something from getting worse.
I never really feel like I'm one to give advice, but if I was to give advice to any viewer, it's just that, this isn't easy, but it's possible. So keep your expectations realistic, meaning it's not going to go super fast and you're not going to make as much money as you want to, as fast as you want to. If you do, that's amazing. Then you've nailed it. But you can't be discouraged. This is it's a marathon.
The biggest piece of advice I would give with viewers is take the advice and stories that we're taking time to share. You can absorb all the podcast information you want, all the stories, but they're not going to matter till they're your own. So take that content, put it through the filter of what works for you, and then apply it. And don't just listen, you have to apply it. It's super important. So take the content. One, you have to do the work, listen, take the content, put it through the filter that is you, and then put it into action in your life or your business. I know it can help you. I know this content has a lot of value if you apply it.
My biggest piece of advice is go out and do something. I mean, there's so many people out there that have great ideas and they lack one thing: execution. They won't even try. You're afraid to fail. You're afraid to hear about what mom and dad think, what your teachers think, what your friends think. You're afraid of what everybody else is going to think. So you do nothing. So you sit there and you wait for something to fall in your lap and nothing ever does. And then you're going to look back in your life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you're going to be in the same exact spot. Why? It's not because you didn't know. It's not because you couldn't research. It's because you wouldn't take a leap of faith, because you wouldn't take action. So if I could give you one piece of advice, is to go out and try it.
And finally, thank you and cheers for following us and watching this series. We're just real folks like recording video at 7 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday in our kitchen with kids screaming in the background. Hope nobody's actually injured. It sounds like it. But I hope that someone has taken away something major from this, like they have avoided some major pitfall in their businesses that they didn't know was coming, or that you just feel better about yourself knowing the struggle that we've all been through in our business. And also, I want to remind everybody that this is YouTube. So if you've enjoyed this series, make sure to give it a thumbs up on all the videos. That helps YouTube know that this is good content that should be recommended to other people. Thanks again for watching. We've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. See ya.